2023 Cadillac Lyriq 450e First Test, the electric SUV is reset button. The 2023 Cadillac Lyriq represents an important reset for the storied American luxury brand. After a resurgence around the turn of the millennium that started with the art and science design Cadillac CTS and Escalade, and through a period that ended with the demise of the CTS-V Sport Wagon, Cadillac was on a roll. But it then squandered its momentum, ceding ground as a cool status symbol to archnemesis Lincoln and upstarts like Tesla. The industry-wide pivot to electrification is a chance for the brand to wipe the slate clean, and the 2023 Cadillac Lyriq 450e is the first fruit of that labor. But is it another CTS, or is Caddy having another EL or a CT6 moment? We are about to find out. What makes the Cadillac Lyriq tick? Cadillac's association with General Motors has often been more of a curse than a blessing, resulting in sports sedans with unrefined truck motors and/or switchgear shared with $20,000 Chevrolets. In the Lyriq's case, however, the association is no curse. The Lyriq rides on GM's new bleeding-edge modular Ultium electric vehicle platform, which allowed Cadillac designers the freedom to pen a midsize SUV that somehow manages to recall the mid-century modern greats of Cadillac's postwar years while also looking contemporary and visionary. Propelling our Lyriq 450e debut edition test car and its long dash-to-axle ratio and camback rear end is a rear-mounted motor good for 340 horsepower and 325 pounds-foot of torque, backed by a quick-charging 102 kilowatt-hour battery pack. The EPA says the Lyriq should be able to cover 312 miles on a charge, and the 190 kilowatt peak rate helps ensure you aren't spending much time tethered to a public charger when necessary. A dual-motor all-wheel drive Lyriq is also planned. You can get the full details of the rest of the Lyriq package, including its passive suspension system, by checking out our first drive here. How fast is the Lyriq? With just a single, modestly powerful motor, we weren't expecting Tesla Model Y performance out of our rear-drive Lyriq test vehicle, yet it still impressed. The Lyriq zipped from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 5.7 seconds and through the quarter mile in a respectable 14.2 seconds at 100.5 miles per hour. That's significantly slower than many electric SUVs in the segment, most of which offer dual-motor all-wheel drive as standard, including the slowest Model Y we've tested, which needed 4.1 seconds to 60 miles per hour and a 12.4-second quarter mile at 114.8 miles per hour. Yet it's as quicker than many of its gas-powered contemporaries, including the Lincoln Nautilus, Genesis GV80, and Mercedes-Benz GLE. And although its 134-foot 60-mile-per-hour performance leaves us a little wanting, the Lyriq manages a respectable 27.2-second figure-8 lap while averaging 0.64 grams. Not bad considering its 5,654-pound curb weight. Is the Lyriq better on the road? The Lyriq drives wonderfully out in the real world. Unlike the violent rip-your-face-off acceleration you get in many of its EV competitors, the Lyriq is tuned more conservatively, in many ways mimicking how a big, under-stressed V8 performs. Dip into the throttle, and you get one big tidal wave of torque that you can surf long past any legal speed limit in this country. The throttle pedal is well damped too, said Associate Editor Duncan Brady. EVs with instant torque tend to expose less smooth driving habits, but the relaxed response in the default tour mode makes it easy to drive smoothly. Those looking for more thrills, fret not, as dual-motor and V versions ought to pack more than 500 horsepower. The Lyriq's brakes are tuned well too. The one-pedal driving mode is smooth and perfectly calibrated, allowing you to come to a complete stop, and should you ever need more braking power, pulling the paddle on the left side of the steering wheel results in even more regenerative